Hello again, friends. We are doing video number 2 in our 12 days of Christmas DIYs. Today we are doing Anthropologie with things from the dollar store. This video I'm particularly excited about, and I love how the things coordinate with what I made from West Elm, which is my previous video. So if you haven't watched that, be sure to go check it out too. And happy DIYing! The first thing I found that I wanted to recreate was this little mermaid ornament. So when I found this little mermaid Barbie at the Dollar Tree, I knew I had to give it a try. I started by just painting her face white. I tried just to get away with just painting her body white, but that didn't really work. I used tinfoil for her tail and just tore off a piece and pressed it down, and it worked perfectly. Then I added some clay around her body to give her a rounder shape and kind of hide her womanly curves. And then I just painted it all white. She only had enough hair to do one braid, which I was kind of sad about. I added a little bit of glue on her tail to keep it from bending and tearing the tinfoil. Just touching up the paint. And then I went in with a Sharpie and some watercolors to create her face. I'm copying the Anthropologie one as closely as possible. And then to make the gold accordion she's holding, I used some gold glitter paper and then this piece of yarn to mimic the coral ribbon. And then I used a lot of hot glue to try to fold it up in the right shape and burned my fingers about 1,000,000 times. And then I'm just adding a gold string for hanging on the tree. And there she is. Not exactly the same, I'd say. I can't quite decide if she's cute or creepy. She kind of looks like a geisha. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Then for my second DIY, I'm going to recreate this Pom Pom Wreath from Anthropologie. This costs $118. I'm using a wreath form from the Dollar Tree, so it was $1, and then these pom-pom makers that I got off of Amazon, and I'll link to those down below. Of course, you can make pom-poms using a piece of cardboard, but this pom-pom maker was seriously a lifesaver. It just makes it so much faster, and it just makes a fluffier, more dense pom-pom. So my method to try to recreate the Anthropologie version is to switch back and forth between gray and white yarn. And this is basically how you use a pom-pom maker. You just wrap your yarn around both of the little colored sections until it's full. Then you snap it closed, and you do the other side. When you're both done, you snap the whole thing closed, and then you cut down the middle on both sides. Then you're going to cut and slide a string through that middle section, which you can't see right now, but you slide a string down through the middle and tie it tightly. I always do 2 knots. And then you pop off the pom-pom maker. And you've got a pom-pom. Thank you. extra long sections. And then I just arranged all the pom-poms on the wreath form. It took a lot of pom-poms, as you can see, but I wanted it to look pretty full, like this original one. To make the hanger, I just took a piece of macrame cord, but you could do like a piece of rope, and I wrapped it with yarn. And this is my finished version. Couldn't have been more than $10 at least. Compared to $118, I feel like it turned out really well. And then to continue on the pom-pom theme, these multicolored pom-pom ornaments for a set of 3 on Anthropologie cost $28. Since we already have our pom-pom makers and now we're experts at making pom-poms, it did not take me very long to whip up these little ornaments using yarn that I already had. I used the leftovers from Bennett's Yarn Rainbow, which I'll post a link to that in the corner here if you want to go check that out. And then I also really love these colors, the coral and mint and teal, so I made a pom-pom ornament in that color too. So compared to $28 for 3, I just used yarn I already had to make these, so they were maybe a few cents each. Pretty easy to do. And then for my final DIY, I wanted to recreate this stocking from Anthropologie. This Sally stocking is one of their all-time best sellers, and currently it's sold out. It was, I think, $40, maybe more than that. So to make my pom-pom stocking, I started with a sweater that I bought from Salvation Army for a couple of bucks, and I'm just cutting out a stocking shape. Put the wrong sides together and sew it up. Then I marked with pins where I wanted my pom-poms to go. Actually, I realized after studying the picture that they weren't pom-poms, that they're actually some kind of French knot with a thick yarn. So using my upholstery needle, which I will link down below, I used my variated yarn because I could get 2 colors of knots out of each. And basically I just would wrap the yarn around the needle a bunch and then pull it through to create kind of a knot on the outside. And sometimes it took a few stitches to get that right. I looked up tutorials for making French knots in embroidery and then messed with that method to do it with yarn. So I'd love to know if you're enjoying this 12 Days of Christmas series and what you thought of today's DIY projects. Let me know down below if you would buy or DIY these. So as a finishing touch, I added 4 pom-poms and 2 tassels at the top. And I love how this turned out. It's so pretty, and I feel like it looks just like the Anthropologie version. And it only cost me a couple dollars for the sweater and then a couple dollars for the yarn. I'd love to know what you guys think. And also, let me know if you do try any of these DIYs, because I would love to see what you come up with. If you're not subscribed, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification so you don't miss the next video in my 12 Days of Christmas DIY series. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Thanks so much.